So actually, it is my anniversary today. So I've got a couple of poems about the fella. But first of all, I'm actually going to start with a poem about my favourite band, which is the Spice Girls. So I'm just going to start it. I'm writing a poem about the Spice Girls because they are where it all began. Because it is what I really, really want. Because there is no guilt in my pleasure. I'm writing a poem about the Spice Girls because Spice World, the movie, is the greatest cinematic achievement of our time, and it came on a lime green VHS tape. Because I am their biggest fan. Because I had the mug but always wanted the lunchbox. Because referencing pop culture in poetry is perfectly legit, especially if it means a lot to you. I am writing a poem about the Spice Girls because they defined a generation who became adults fed on girl power, sisterhood, and friendship. Because they are greater than the sum of their parts, more than just sporty, baby, posh, scary, and ginger, because I can be all in one go. I am writing a poem about the Spice Girls because knowing all the words to Two Become One by age 5 probably wasn't the best, but I am determined that one day that song will get me laid. Because their entire discography shaped my life. Spice Up Your Life is my call to arms, Mama Always Calls Me Home, and Viva Forever is my swan song. Because my sister and I sang Wannabe all the time to our family. I knew all the words, but she was too young, so she would sing Zig-a-Zig-ah in all the wrong places. I'm writing a poem about the Spice Girls because every reunion rumour means I never give up on the good times, the simpler times. Because I got tickets to see their show in Bristol. Because I never liked posh anyway. Because What Would the Spice Girls Do is my new manifesto. I'm writing a poem about the Spice Girls because they deserve it, and so do I. So one of the things that has happened to me in the last year or so, whilst I was on my master's, my father passed away. So the collection that I ended up writing was about that happening and all the things that went with it. So I'm going to share a couple of short ones. They're not too sad, these ones, so I'll be gentle with you today. So this first one is called An Exercise in How to Move On. I find running helps. It feels like halfway between positive and punishing. And recently the past has been catching up. So I've been pounding the pavements in unsupportive footwear, telling myself that sanity lies in a 10-minute mile that I just can't reach when I've been smoking the tobacco you've left behind. There's certainly a high after the first 10K, and my body buzzes with the love of it. But the beer's Nectar celebration smell of you. It doesn't last. I end up blistered. At night, I tighten and ache. My hips scream, knees burn, ankles cry. But my brain finally stops running, lies quiet and sleeps, which I guess is all I wanted. Thanks. And I'm bringing this one out because it did snow recently, so this can be topical. One of the things we had to do was clear out my dad's shed, which clearing out a man's shed at the best of times is just horrendous, but he collected things, so this is about that, and it is called An Awfully Big Adventure. The last time it snowed in Devon, my father piled his landlady, her boyfriend, her daughter, and my brother into his ramshackle van and set off for Dartmoor. They sledged all afternoon on bin lids, recycling bags, and dinner trays. The next day, in his cleverness, he bought 3 sledges for his 3 children and waited for the snow to come back. After he had been put into boxes, we found years of lost boys' toys gathering damp, broken remote control helicopters, power kites, one sad inflatable kayak, and 3 unused sledges. When the snow finally came and the country stopped under the pixie dust white, I sold them to a beaming man whose son had never seen snow before. So I'm going to bring you back up now. Sorry for lowering the mood. But as I said earlier, today is my 7-year anniversary with my boyfriend. Fiancé. Birdspeed always shouts at me for not saying fiancé, even though it's been 6 months and I still can't. I proposed to him this summer and he said yes. But this poem is about the night we met, which was at Thekla, a well-known club in Bristol. So any of you who've been there, you get the vibe. It was a dark, cold, autumnal night on All Hallows Eve, when the rebels and revellers took to the streets searching for tricks, treats, conquests and sweets. On the river that cuts through the dark heart of the city, there is a pirate ship, haunted by the memories and regrets of all who venture there. This is where we met. I was just in drag as Justin Bieber. I wore a flat peak cap, a hoodie and high-top trainers, not a scrap of makeup, and my hair swept across my face, serving true Justin Bieber 2010 realness. On the crowded upper deck, I followed new friends to a corner to roll cigarettes badly. I returned to the nearest table and recited the eternally seductive spell of, "Can I borrow a lighter?" And he said yes. He wore a Father Christmas onesie that was on sale in Primark, spattered with face paint and fake blood. Half of Thekla had done the same. And I thought, boy, you should go and love yourself. I'd describe his face, but honestly, I couldn't tell what he looked like. But he had eyes that smiled easily. So we talked and we talked and we laughed and we smoked. When my then boyfriend was mentioned, I wondered if it was too late now to say sorry. And he said, "What do you mean?" You see, he didn't disappear, melting into the woodwork like so many other men. Didn't string me a line of "if I was your boyfriend." He just talked to me like I was an actual person. And I was one less lonely girl, and I was like, baby. I'm wondering, can we still be friends with no ulterior motive? So we talked and we talked and we laughed and we smoked. Someone snapped a pic of us and we were captured by the flash, all awkward smiles and face paint. Until I said, "Baby, it's cold outside," but not in the spike your drink kind of way. So I tottered off to dance with newfound friends that I don't talk to anymore. A few months later, and the then boyfriend was long gone. If it hadn't been for that photo on Facebook, we'd have never found each other. It was just the two of us for the first time. And I farted, just to see his reaction. He laughed. A few years later, and we have a house now. And we talk, and he vapes, and I lie about giving up. This isn't a scary story. It's not a grand romantic love. It's just us. And a story of what happens when you talk to people like they're people, not things to be won or lost or owned, just people. Just us. Just a girl dressed as Justin Bieber and a boy dressed as Father Christmas. Thanks, guys. Happy anniversary.